Hello, I'm Dr. Niecikowski.
Hi, I'm Julie.
So now we're going to look at the educational merits of Blokus 3D, which is the 3D version of the 2D Blokus, or some people call it Blokus. Now you'll see that I have two versions here. Both are from Educational Insights. Mattel did acquire this and basically just republish it as is. Rumis was the original Educational Insights version, which I debated whether or not to indicate on the slide here the social studies connections, because it's based on the, I've got to pronounce this correctly, Quechua language, if I'm pronouncing that right, which is eventually was a culture that was absorbed by the Incan Empire and continued after the Incan Empire was colonized by the Spanish. But we're focusing on transformations in pentámenos. It's players 2 to 4, 20 minutes, ages 7 and up. Now, it requires a little bit more geometric thinking than Blokus 2D, which, depending on what version you look at, it's either ages 5 and up or 7 and up. I think it's ages 5 and up. So let's take a look at Rumis first, because you might be able to acquire an older copy. And even then, you can use it for architecture. Whether you're using the unit squares blocks in your addition, subtraction, and multiplication, where you have the units, the 10 base blocks.
Okay.
Units, tens, hundreds, and thousands. You can use that with this, but also for architecture. And if you're using, you have access to computer-aided design and you have a 3D printer, this game could also help with that as well. Or if you're going to use sugar cubes and build things out of sugar cubes, this game could help. But let's take a look at Rumis first. So when Rumis was first published, it actually used the Quechua language here and gave you some facts. So this is the house, and they're made out of cardboard. But in the Mattel later version of the Educational Insight version, it has a plastic overlay, which helps young people not go over. Whereas here, you could slide off like this, and it can fall over a lot easier. But anyway, you have, this goes as high, as you will see here, as ×2 number of players. So it's a 2 to 4 player game, so it can go 4 high, 6 high with 3 players, and 8 high with 4 players. And then here is the wall. This is the one I play because it's the easiest one to teach, because you just go as high as the number of players. And so this is what it is in the Quechua language. And it gives you some information here. But in the abstract only version, it's like this. Okay. But again, they give you this nice little template here, if I can turn it around right. 2 high, 3 high, and 4 high based on the number of players. So that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Now, one thing in this version of Rumis here, it does have the numbers right here, but it's so hard to see. 1 high in this row, 2 high, you're building a pyramid. Steps. 3 high, then 4 high, 5, 6, 7, 8 high. Doesn't matter the number of players, that's how high you go. And so it does give you a nice little chart here. In the regular edition, shows you right here.
Oh, that is nice.
Okay.
That helps a lot.
Yeah. In fact, it's only 4 high. I didn't notice that until now.
Oh, yeah.
It's only 4 high here. But here, on this one here, it can be confusing.
Wow.
So in the Rumis one,
It's different.
it says maximum height. So that's confusing. That can be very confusing when it says 8 and 7 high here, but it only wants you to go 4 high for the 2-player version. But in this here, it does show you.
On that first one, the tower, you called it a house, but the tower, does it have the numbers written on it too?
No.
Oh, okay.
You're right, it is the tower. I don't know why I called it the house.
But it doesn't have numbers on there.
It says right there, no.
Oh.
But it tells you in the rules here,
Okay.
in the Rumis one, that
Oh, okay. I
the
see.
tower is 4 high.
high.
See, it's times the number of players.
I see. Okay.
2 times 2, 2 times 3, 2 times 4.
Got it.
So that's interesting here, that, because I never really played this too often, the pyramid and the steps. So just keep that in mind. There is some slight variation here when you get to the top of the steps. for the 4 and 3rd player, which in all these years, I maybe knew back then, but I didn't remember today. So a pyramid, 1 high, 2, 3 high, and that's hard to read.
Yeah.
But it's even harder to read. By the way, here's the template for the.
Oh, okay. For the
So it does show you here on this template.
That's for the pyramid?
No, for the steps.
Oh, for steps.
But for the pyramid,
Yeah.
very hard to see. It shows you right here how high you can go.
Yeah.
It's pretty much forget about reading it. So you'd have to look right here.
Right.
So all of them, looks like you do a half pyramid for 2 players. See?
Interesting, yeah.
Something I have not paid attention to till right now after all these years. That's only because it's been years since we played this.
True.
So what's another, so in terms of the turntable here, the cardboard fits here, and it's, thematically cool, all right? But things can slip off. The pieces are a little bit more thematic looking.
I like those.
Yeah, I do too.
Really pretty.
See? Whereas these are more opaque, a little bit more boring.
Yeah.
So keep in mind that if you do get the original Rumis, you could more easily tie it into indigenous culture. Now, whether or not this is accurate, let's say the things we're saying about the Quechua language and culture is not accurate. Well, that could be a teaching lesson in itself about what's accurate, not accurate about this. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Incan culture. But somebody might have done an evaluation of that to say what's accurate and not accurate. So let's take a look at the rules now of Blokus 3D. And we're going to use the plastic template version. And when Mattel, I don't know if it's still in print.
I don't know.
But Mattel, when they put it out, they used the same thing that Educational Insights did. All right, so let's play the wall.
The wall, okay.
The wall is easier, for me, the easiest thing to play.
All right.
Let's zoom in here a little bit.
Sounds good.
Okay, why is that? Because you don't have to worry about going as high as the number of players.
And it's too high, it looks
Right,
like.
too high. And it has a nice rotation here. And as I said, this could be useful for computer-aided design, or if you want to do architecture. You're still flipping pieces, but that's difficult to do on paper. You can do it in a computer.
True.
Okay. So the first one rule to remember is that you cannot have any space underneath a piece like this. And you can't have anything going overlapping the template like that.
Okay.
Okay. And so for the first turn, just like a regular Blokus, you must, well, you can place anywhere you want. Okay, now Julia will go. She's going to be blue. She must touch my piece for the first turn. And that's a good play. Now let me explain why. Because in this game, you get points for the number of sides that are showing looking straight down. So if the game were to end right here, Julie would win. I would have 1 piece showing. She would have 3. But then you got to subtract 1 point for each piece that is not used. So look, it didn't end right now.
I know, thank goodness.
But we would both lose. In fact, still Julie would win because she'd have a lower negative score than me. So now, for the next pieces, we must, let me move this back here a little bit.
Do you always have to turn it, honey?
Well, I turn it so I can see it.
I see, okay.
And that's what's so nice about this.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is nice.
Now I must touch the side of one of my pieces. Now remember, we can only go 2 high, so I can't do this.
Right.
But if we're playing 4 players, I
You
could.
could.
I could. I can go like that.
Ah,
Okay. But now I'm going to make sure. Now let's say I did go do something like this. That's not a good play. Because what are you going to do next, Julie?
well,
I am touching the sides of at least one of my pieces.
couldn't I just do that?
Exactly. So that's why that's a terrible move for me, because you just covered up 4 of my points.
Yeah.
But again, we're going to keep on playing here. I'll show you different things you can do. So this could happen. Julie will not be able to place anything here.
Oh, darn, yeah.
Because in order to put something there, you'll
Yeah.
be going 3 high. So I know I will get that point there. And this point, maybe not this one, because Julie could overlap that in a way, which she just did. So the danger is here, I have no play on this side. Do I have a play over here? Yes, because my red is showing.
It seems like you would run out of pieces doing 2-player, don't you think, honey?
Oh, eventually you will.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go here.
All right.
So now I for sure am going to score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Julie's going to score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She's beating me right now. So you keep on going, and we count what's showing and subtract whatever pieces we have left. It's 1 point for each piece.
Oh, not for each little square.
Not like in 2D Blokus where you count each square.
Right, I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the rule to remember, is that each one of these pieces that we don't use is minus 1 point.
Okay.
Not minus 1 point.
Well, that's a lot better than what I was originally thinking.
Exactly. But anyway, you keep on playing until you can't play any more blocks, and you count your points. Whoever's scored the most points minus the blocks you didn't use wins.
Okay.
And there is more variety to this game, that's for sure. All right, so as a parent, what do you think?
As a parent, I think it's really interesting. I think it would make the kids, our boys, think more about how they want to do stuff, and it might interest them in maybe becoming an architect or watching how things are built and seeing how they take shapes and make them into, a hospital or a big high-rise or something. I think it would be very interesting for them to try it. I know we've played it with them when they were little, and I think they got a little frustrated, but I think they hung in there, and they really did like it, and they liked to see how they could make things, see how tall they could go depending on how many of us were playing together. And I just think it's a neat game for them to learn those skills. And you also did, you used that word to like move them to...
Oh, transforming them, yeah. Flipping, rotating, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So, as an educator, this has more connection. I mean, it has a lot of connections to it, but it requires more effort to make those connections.
Definitely.
Because you're either going to be using computers, or you're going to be using like sugar cubes or base 10 blocks to make those connections.
It's definitely not a game you want to play if your children are tired or they haven't had their snack yet. You want to get them nice and fresh when they play this.
Whereas the 2D block it's easier to make the connections because you can do everything on paper.
Oh,
if I want to make connections with regular Blokus, here's a grid paper and draw and do it over the XY axis. Whereas if you want to manipulate these blocks, you need a computer.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
To do some things you can do, like I said, it requires more effort to make connections with it.
I agree.
There's definitely academic connections to it.
Yeah.
But as a family, we play the 2D Blokus more often.
Yeah.
Because it's more accessible.
It's more accessible, and it can be not as frustrating as this one, especially when the kids are younger. This could get frustrating for younger ones.
And as for you, it's more difficult as a parent. You rather play 2D Blokus over 3D Blokus.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I would, if the boys wanted to play it when they were younger, I'd play it with them. I may, not do very well, but that would be okay. It would be something they'd want to do, and it'd be a good time to spend with them and play a game with them, and maybe it would spark an interest in something. So I would definitely do it.
So I don't know if someone would prefer this over 2D Blokus. So say someone doesn't like regular Blokus, if they like this better.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or other way around.
Right, right.
I just know that as a family,
We like the regular
you rather
Blokus.
play the regular one over this.
Yeah.
As for me, I actually prefer this one. It's just but not everybody likes to play this one.
I don't like to think that hard.
Well, anyway, so you saw the Rumis version with the social studies connections. Here's the Mattel and the Educational Insights version before Mattel bought it. And this is what Mattel will put out too. It's the same thing.
Nice.
So thanks for watching, and we hope you
you.
check out the other videos.
See you guys later.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.